Over the past couple years, I've grown into what I think of as a decent cinematographer. I like to think that I have good taste, good leadership skills, a good, kind person, and I'd like to think that I'm somebody that other people want to be around for 12 hours a day on set. I've learned so much over the past couple years of being a cinematographer, and the only reason I've learned so much and all the things that I have learned is because of all the failure I've went through and all of the different times where I've put myself in uncomfortable situations and been in places where I've had to grow and learn. What I want to share with you is one thing that changed my mindset from being a DP who's being used as a tool to being a DP who has an artistic expression and a voice. But first, I want to take a brief moment to talk about our sponsor, MUSICBED. Part of why I continue to do YouTube and enjoy it more and more is because I have found comfort in my voice and my style and who I truly am as a person. Naturally, I'm very calm, I'm a chill person, I am very relaxed, and I don't tend to get hyped up very often. And I know that my YouTube videos more and more have been an accurate representation of who I truly am as a person off camera. So finding music that matched my particular vibe and energy was extremely important to me. Since the beginning of my filmmaking career and my YouTube journey, I have relied solely on MUSICBED to be able to provide me with the music that I'm looking for any given project that I'm working on. I typically start in genre, ambient, and then I go to the mood setting and chill and uplifting. These tracks paired with some lo-fi hip-hop are usually my go-to for this channel. But if you can't find exactly what you're looking for in the search tab, MUSICBED has an extensive playlist with filmmakers and vibes, and whatever you are searching for your particular video, you can easily find it within the playlist setting or with their extensive search tools. So hear the difference for yourself and sign up for a free account. Use the code Carlo at checkout to receive 1 month free with an annual subscription purchase. Thank you MUSICBED for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back to today's topic. It's not every time I'm on set that I get to work on these creatively fulfilling projects. A lot of the time, still in my career today, I'm working on those boring corporate client work that are interviews, B-roll. I still do those to this day, and I consider those bill-paying jobs. I hope that this finds comfort to a lot of you that think you're falling behind because you're doing a ton of corporate work. It's just not the case. A lot of us DPs are. We just don't show it. Since the beginning of my DP career, I started in Philadelphia, and Philly has a lot of corporate work. So from the beginning, I was doing a ton of interviews, a ton of boring corporate work, and that got me into the mentality of I'm just a tool being used to accomplish something at a specific level, and that's kind of all I have to offer. For a lot of these corporate projects, as a DP, you're not being hired for your artistic and creative expression. You're being hired to make it look at a certain level and at a certain standard, depending on who your client is and what they're trying to get accomplished. That's usually what your role as a DP is to be able to set up the lights, set up the camera, manage a small crew and make it look a certain level. That's your job. I got so comfortable with this mentality that when I did get an opportunity to go on these creative projects, these different, more exploratory projects, I still felt trapped in that mindset of I'm just a tool being used to accomplish the look as it's written and as it's given to me. That's the mentality that I had for a while. And it wasn't until I looked at myself in the mirror and really took a deep dive into the work that I was producing and the work that I was sharing to the world, and I asked myself a very simple question, and that question was, what makes me stand out among the other DPs out there? And that simple question was really hard for me to answer, and frankly, in a creative sense, I couldn't answer that question. This was a turning point for me, and as I continue this message, hopefully it's an eye-opening message for some of you as well. Asking myself that simple question, which frankly is not a very simple question, it's quite complex, because I could have answered it as I get hired because I am efficient, I get hired because I'm a good leader, I get hired because I can make an image look to a certain standard, I get hired because I am a good person that people want to be around. Those are all attributes and qualities to a DP that are imperative, but it did not answer the simple question of what makes Carlo unique? What makes me a viable option that productions want to hire due to an artistic expression? That's where I struggled to answer that question. Being a DP isn't about just setting up a key light. It isn't just about setting up a camera and framing things up. Your job is to take the creative that is given to you by production and elevate it. Find solutions, find alternatives to what the production, what the director is presenting to you. And that is something that I have really learned to take control of over the past couple months. I felt that prior, I was just this tool that would be given a treatment. I was given something, and I would just be a yes person, like, oh, let's do it this way, and I'd agree, and I wouldn't have any other creative input other than, sure, we can do that, or yes, let's just do it this way. I felt like I was taking a very safe approach to every production that I was on, and I lacked my own voice in those projects, and that to me was a detriment to my growth and my future as a cinematographer. And recently I have really taken control of that idea of how can I add my voice, how can I inject myself into this project, whether it's small, whether it's big, whatever the case is for this project, how can I add myself into it? A lot of the times when you get a treatment, you get some direction, you get an idea of what you're about to be shooting, your suggestions could be as simple as a different lighting technique. It could be adding lighting movement. It could be a different type of camera movement. It could be a way you compose the subject in the frame that could be slightly different than the director wanted, but it still gives this exact same message and they're on board with it. Or it could be as simple as providing an alternative or a suggestion in colors to wardrobe or production design. Because at the end of the day, you as the DP, your final image is your responsibility. So being able to provide suggestions, being able to provide alternatives, or just ideas in general to make the overall image better, that is your job. And it's important to take some risks. It's important to take some chances, some big swings when the time is right, and be able to feel confident in those. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes courage to be able to artistically express yourself the way that you want, when it's in line with the director and the vision of the production. By experimenting and trying new things, you're inevitably going to start finding your voice. You're going to start finding your style. You're going to realize that certain things work in certain scenarios. You're going to realize why you like certain things and why you don't like certain things, and how things are going to work and not work in any given scenario or circumstance. It's all you're building a mental library of things that you've tried, things that you've learned, things that you've failed on. And that inevitably is going to start determining who you are and your style. If you stay comfortable just doing the most basic thing, most of the time you're going to get the job done, and it's going to be at the standard as, expected. You're going to get the decent look that you're going for. But at the end of the day, are you creatively expressing yourself? Are you leaving your mark on this project? And that to me is really important now. Where I am in my career, I want to be an artist. I want to be someone that has a voice. I want to be someone that can express themselves through the visual form, not just be a tool that gets the job done. And yes, there are still scenarios where that is the role, and I'm totally okay with that. Even in those scenarios, how can I inject myself, even if it just brings up the project by 2%, 1%, how can I inject myself in any form possible in any project coming up? That to me is what I'm striving for this year. What I'm striving for as I grow is how can I artistically express myself in any project that I'm given. And with this creative journey that you're growing and becoming an artist, it also is in parallel, in line with your life as a human being. The more that you experience life, the more that you go through trials and failures as a human being, you go through relationships, you make friends, you experience the world, you travel, you'll start getting a better understanding of who you are and why you like certain things, and your experience, your voice will become more unique to you and your perspective. And as I've grown, as I'm growing, I have noticed that my voice, my perspective has changed as I've gone through different things in my life thus far. So that's my biggest tip to aspiring cinematographers. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. My hope is to always be transparent, honest, and share my journey along with you guys as I'm going through it. So hopefully today is another video that shows my journey and who I am as a person and where I'm going in my life, as my career, and yeah, just another step. And hopefully you guys can take some action and learn a little bit from today, and hopefully you can start finding your voice as an artist and imprinting yourself into any project that you work on. So that's it for today. Hopefully you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time. Peace out.